Welcome all. I am Dr. Seema Sagde, a professor with Maharashtra State Institute of Hotel Management and Catering Technology, Pune. Today, I would like to take you all for a small session on budgeting related to the front office department in a hotel. Hoteliers use budgeting and forecasting for strategic planning and financial control, and a standard against which to measure actual operating results. Financial forecasts and budget can strengthen management's control of hotel operating expenses and help determine the profitability of the property. A few learning objectives from this topic are: understand the concept of a budget and the advantages of preparing a budget. Second, plan and describe the types of budgets made in a front office department. Next is explain the budget planning process. So, what is a budget? Budget is an estimation of revenue and expenses over a specified future period of time and is usually compiled and re-evaluated on a periodic basis. Budgeting is a process by which, based on the actual performance of the establishments in the past, estimates of expenditure and receipts are made and adjusted for future outcomes. Now, this is really important. Yes, it is. Why? Because without a clear budget in mind, the business would not achieve the targeted return or perhaps maximized return required by the organization or by the owner of the business, since it cannot identify the risk and cost involved in the future trends. The process of budgeting is considered to be a valuable control tool in the hospitality industry. In earlier days, where the hotel services were limited, but today the services have extended far more than their core business. The identity of a hotel is based on the service, particularly on the quality and overall operational standards. The use of a budget and budgetary control is now a vital part of the hospitality industry accounting. It is used as a benchmark to measure the performance as well as setting up the financial targets. As it happens in every other business, hotel business also faces a lot of challenges. The competition amongst hotels is fierce. Organizations have to stay innovative and think about new ideas to attract guests. The competitive landscape of existing hotels is more challenging than ever. With new brands, concepts, and distribution channels opening frequently, hotel operators have to find creative ways to stand out from the competition. Hotels of today have to stay ahead with high-tech solutions. Often website visitors look for answers to specified questions, and live chat is a preferred method of customer service. Deploying of hotel chatbots for instant answers to common questions, booking assistance, local recommendations, room service requests, and more is what today's tech-savvy guests expect. With the adoption of advanced technology to manage a hotel property and provide the best guest service, there are a lot of security threats also observed. New technology is helping hoteliers manage hotel operations, optimize revenues, enhance guest experiences, etc. These tools give hotels more control over their business, guest satisfaction, and profitability. But this new wave of interconnected technology also creates new risks and emerging threats. Apart from the majority of guests today are self-sufficient, tech-savvy travelers. With so many brands to choose from, properties need to find a way to stand out. Today's savvy consumer craves personalized, immersive experiences. Within the hotel and hospitality industry, competition is one of the single biggest challenges for individual hotels to contend with. Marketing is very essential as it is the way hotels are able to promote their property, highlight its unique features, ensure that it stands out from the other brands. Ultimately, keeping up with the latest hotel marketing trends and engaging customers through marketing can help hotel owners to maximize the number of bookings they generate and the revenue they bring in. Few trends what the hotels are adopting are artificial intelligence influencer marketing, virtual and augmented reality, user-generated content, video marketing, etc. Adopting one of these trends gives you a sense of security in the competitive market. Apart from this, irregular cash flows also become a major challenge. There has to be a proper cash flow management system followed to maximize liquidity, optimize cash resources, control cash flows, and maximize the value of funds while minimizing the cost of funds. When we have so much to do in the front office, or when we have so much to retain ourselves into this competitive market, we need planning. We need a lot of future planning and adapting new trends. So this requires a little budgeting every year. So to move ahead, we have to understand what are the types of budgets. As we all know, hotels operate 24/7, 365 days. So imagine the huge amount of supplies, agents, equipments required for the smooth operations of the department. Needless to say, they require a budget. So to understand the types of budgets, we have a basic categorization, which depends on expenditures. Under this, we have a fixed and a flexible budget. So, as the name suggests, fixed budgets are allocated for those items which remain unchanged over a period of time. It is not related to the revenue levels achieved by the department. If the sale or the occupancy is high or low, these expenses still remain the same. What are the examples of these? The advertisement or the promotion of your property, the maintenance of the equipments used in the departments, etc. On the other hand, a flexible budget is directly related to the volume of business or the sales. If the sale is high, the expense increases. If the sale is low, the expense decreases. Such kinds of budgets are allocated for items like stationery used in the department. Also, there would be a time when the property caters to a high volume of guests, maybe due to events like conferences, conventions, etc. In these cases, one would require indirect labor. So these expenses come under flexible budgets. Next, we have our capital budgets. These are budgets which are allocated for assets which have a lifespan for more than a year. Items like your furniture, fixture, and equipments are an example of capital budget. They usually require a bigger amount of investment. Next is the operating budget, which is associated with your routine operations in the department during a certain period of time. These are those costs which the hotel incurs in order to generate revenue on day-to-day basis. This will include your stationery items used at the front office, guest souvenirs which are given to a guest during his checkout, etc. Next is your master budget. As we all are aware, the hotel has various operational and non-operational departments. So every department makes a budget. Master budget represents all the interrelated budgets from various departments. They forecast targets set for the whole organization and incorporate all the incomes and expenditures for the organization. Apart from these, we also have a cash flow budget. Now, as the name suggests, it is specifically related to the cash receipts and all cash expenditures which are expected to occur during a certain period of time. Now, since estimating for a year would be a little difficult, these budgets are broken down into quarterly, monthly, or bi-monthly. Then we have a zero-based budget. These budgets do not have a reference of previous data. The expenses included under this budget are judged and justified for fund allotment. Next we have is an overhead budget. The expenses included are like labor cost, material cost, accounting fees, etc. This category of budget helps in the smooth operations of the department. So how are these budgets prepared or drafted? There is a process which is followed for budgeting. Now for the front office department, as we all know, it is a department which is responsible for the sale of hotel products, majorly the rooms. The sale of rooms contributes to the maximum revenue generated by the property. It is also very true that the occupancy levels decide the market status of any property or any hotel. So in the front office, budgeting, forecasting of room sales is of utmost importance, since it gives us an outline of departmental expenses, helps us understand the monthly breakups, and helps in the preparation of the budget. Apart from this, we also have to think about the estimated expenses. Now, most expenses in the front office are the direct expenses. They vary in direct proportion to the room revenue. In spite of doing your budget preparations in a very systematic manner, sometimes your budgets require refining. During the operations, there may be a variance in the projected expenses and the actual expenses. Now, in this case, refining of budget is done and it is brought in line. The department budget is supported by worksheets and is documented well. There are several advantages of preparing a budget. It defines the objectives of the departments and the organizations. It also guides the management for planning and formulating of policies. Creates a sense of caution and care amongst the team members. It helps in reviewing profitability and cash allocation for the department and helps in fund planning for the department. We also find a few limitations of a budget. As we all know, it is worked out on approximations and judgments, which may not be accurate. Also, the success of a budget depends on the teamwork. When all the members work in the same direction and cooperation towards the common goal of the organization, the maximum success and utility of a budget could be achieved. Also, it cannot replace the management because it's just a tool. As we know, the occupancy percentages projected and achieved would be different. There would be variances in those. That is why budgets may need revisions from time to time, so leads to more of an administrative expense also. Next we have is budgetary control. So what is budgetary control? It refers to how well managers utilize budgets to monitor and control costs and operations in a given accounting period. In other words, budgetary control is a process for managers to set financial and performance goals with budgets, compare the actual results, and adjust performance as it is needed. It serves as an effective tool for measuring the performance of the department and the individuals working in the same. The difference in performance helps management identify the weak areas and give special attentions for improvement. It also brings in efficiency and cost reduction by proper planning and helps in getting in discipline in the organization by following the standard operating procedures set by the management. It improves coordination between different departments since the performance and results of one department are often dependent on other departments. Like for example, front office performance is dependent on the housekeeping and the sales and marketing department. To summarize about the topic, it is understood that the front office manager needs to prepare a budget annually to allocate the resources required to generate revenue. Now, while preparing the budget, he has to take a review of the past planning and the present accomplishments have to be taken into consideration. He also has to ensure that the department's actual expenses are in line with the planned budget. We've also learned that budgets are financial frameworks within which departments operate. Thus, controlling of expenses is very, very important. We have also understood the various types of budgets which are applicable for the front office department. Well, a few questions to be attempted are: what is a budget? Explain the different types of budgets which you observe in the front office department and describe the budget planning process followed in the hotel. Also, there's an assignment on discuss how expenses can be controlled in the front office department. Thank you. Happy learning.